is sports and fun and Phil Simms. I know a lot about that guy, even though we were bitter enemies, sort of like Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. Phil Simms and I used to have this kind of relationship.
Yeah, but those guys still have that relationship.
I know. Phil and I settled our differences.
Right, okay.
Because Phil and I had this, he's a Giants guy. He played for the Giants.
Sure.
He won a couple Super Bowls, I believe, up there. And then I was an Eagle fan. And when we worked together, we'd always make bets against Giants and Eagles games. And then I lost a bet, and it was a dinner. And I paid up, and I bought Phil Simms dinner to make it all copacetic.
Well, that couldn't have been cheap.
No, it was a good dinner. You think I'm going to take him to like Five Guys and get a pizza?
Right,
like
get the Michael Jordan pizza. Yeah.
Phil Simms joins us up there from North Jersey, still locked in up there in North Jersey, where things are a lot better than they are in South Jersey and in New York City. Phil, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Great to be on with you guys. Tony, I don't know. Your recollection, and you never paid up for nothing.
Are you serious, Phil?
And you lost more than one bet. You lost so many damn bets to me. What year was it that we had those bets? We were betting on more than just the Eagles and the Giants. We were betting on the Eagles and this and that. What year was that? Do you know?
Hell no. I don't even remember. I remember paying up the bet. I think I even have the receipt from the dinner because you kept giving me crap.
Where'd we go to dinner? Where'd we go to dinner?
I don't know, some fancy place in New York.
I thought you wrote it off.
No, I don't write that kind of stuff off. Who do I look like?
Man, I don't forget. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't forget nothing. And that was 1994, by the way. And it was like stealing. That's all I can say. It was every bet, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, the Eagles. Whatever came out of his mouth, it had always something to do with Philadelphia, and it was during the Eagles, during football season. And every time he bet on them, they lost. So I don't know. But it's all good. Good to be on. Tony, good to see you or hear you back in action. I like that little opening dialogue. It's our opinions or whatever, and then if they're not facts, they're our opinion. What was that
Wait,
again?
don't you do the same thing on CBS? And what happens to you when you go on Inside the NFL or you're on CBS and you give an opinion as a guy who played at the highest level?
No, wait, hold it. I don't give opinions. I give facts. I don't just,
So you just throw out numbers. You just throw out numbers and don't have anything to relate to the numbers. Once you have the facts, then you give an opinion based on the facts, right?
Well, okay. But one, I'm not a big numbers guy either. I don't really deal in numbers a lot. Oh, this guy on third down and some of these numbers they mean nothing to me and whatever. So, but usually I talk about something I really know in depth. Yes, I guess, of course, when something we talk about, well, it wouldn't come up that way. But if we talk about something I haven't really studied or whatever, then, yeah, I might give a casual opinion about it. So there you go.
Then why were people ripping, because we had Joe Buck on, and all you guys who do this at the highest level, they always listen and they want to hear you say something that they believe is something in reference to ripping a fan base, like you do with me. I mean, it's open with you and me. I mean, I ripped the Giants, and when you were there and the Giants were good, they would beat the Eagles all the time. But then now the Giants can't beat the Eagles no matter who the quarterback is. So you're still a Giants apologist, aren't you, Phil?
I never have been. What do you mean? I'm still. Some people say, hey, something about the Giants to me. Fans do all the time. I said, listen, they cut me back in 1994, so I'm still not part of the organization. I don't get paid. Yes, I still like the owners and some people that are still there, but I think I'm pretty honest when it comes to talking about the New York Giants.
I know, Phil. Come on, Phil. You're getting all uppity. We're having fun here, man.
No, I'm not getting up. You're right. I don't know why. Hey, look, I got defensive there when you said I take up for the Giants. I really did.
Well, people, when you win a couple Super Bowls with a team, everybody always asks, well, who was the Giant? You are known with the New York Football Giants, Phil.
Yes,
and you'll
understand.
always be known as the New York Football Giant.
That's right. You got it. I guess I will be.
And you and Bill Parcells are still good, aren't you?
We've always been good.
Okay.
Listen, that's another thing. Yes, he yelled at me all the time. But the great thing about Bill was you could yell back at him. And I yelled back a lot. And I would yell at him sometimes and catch him. He'd go, oh, you want to hit me, don't you? And I'd look at him and go, man, there's something wrong with you. I mean, what head coach would say that in any sport? Bill just had a different way. We might not ever see another coach like Bill Parcells ever. So
it's kind of like an old school tough love scenario.
I see a 30. Where's the 30 for 30 on Phil Simms and Bill Parcells?
The whole
and
Parcells
the Giants
era with the Giants
exactly.
would be fascinating.
How can that not be a 30 for 30, Phil?
Well, one, it's a new world or an old world back then, so there's not video much of anything, and especially our interactions during practice. So his favorite, I always say this, played under Bill Parcells for 8 years. Of course, we had great success. And when he retired, I had to come home and check my birth certificate to see if my first name began with a P or an F. Because for 8 years, I was Effin Sims. Effin Sims. It never ended.
Well, you can spell Phil with an F, depending.
Well, I guess you can. Yeah. One of my teammates once said, you should just write FS like Lawrence Taylor does LT. And I go, what? Excuse me, what'd you say? He goes, FS. I said, I thought I heard you say that. So I spread the rumor through the locker room, and this guy took a beating. I got kind of worried. I said, he was a defensive lineman. I said, he's going to kick my rear end. That I told everybody this story. But, yeah, Bill was, I forgot my train of thought there, but
the 30 for 30. You don't have all the video and the.
We wouldn't have enough video, no. Yeah. And the only ones we have is when he's mic'd up. And then when he was mic'd up, he really wasn't Bill Parcells. I'd come to the sideline, and one time I come to the sideline, and it stopped because somebody's hurt. And he goes, "Oh, so who's hurt? Who's hurt?" And I say who it is. He goes, "Oh, well, I hope he's okay." And I basically said, "I don't give a crap if he's hurt," or. I'm being very kind how I say that. And he goes, "Oh, come on, Sims, social, class." And this time I'm looking at him going, "Who are you?" And, of course, I found out later he was, I saw it in NFL Films. He was mic'd up, so he turned into a different guy when he was mic'd up. So he had to be, that was usually once or twice a year. So,
but there has to be, we're not talking about the 30s. I mean, we have great tape of old school coaches. I mean, Lombardi screaming, what the hell's going on out there? And matriculate that, keep and in Buffalo, keep matriculating the ball. And then, of course, the great
Hank
Stram in Kansas City. Keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
Hank Stram playing in the Super Bowl, I don't even think he knew where he was at. He was so nervous about that mic being on. Hey, Lenny, run that play. The one. Lenny, whatever that play is, running that play. He didn't even know the name of it. That was great. But, yeah. Bill, I don't know how often these coaches got mic'd up back in the days, but I don't think we could hear some of the real things that went on. I mean, it would be a lot of bleeping. I'd come to the sideline. Dallas Cowboys were playing down there. Sims, tell those effing linemen if they don't do this, and you tell those damn wide receivers, and you tell the running backs, and and he goes, and he kind of said something very negative about me. And I'm going, can you give me a play? I mean, just give me a play. I came over here for the play, and you're just killing our whole offense. And that's kind of how it was. He played that game. He played it well. And in practice, real quickie, he yelled at the offensive lineman one day, just destroying them. And when he yelled at you, everybody else was allowed to laugh, like, hey, get him, Bill, out of the way. And I'm standing behind him. I'm smiling, going, yeah, fix this old line, because my ass has been getting beat for about 3 straight weeks in a row. And, of course, he gets done. He turns around and he goes, and Sims, it's your effing fault. And I just went, well, of course, everything is, I said, why? He goes, because she used to be their leader. Now you're their buddy, their friend. Go take them out to dinner again. See how that's working out. Why don't you lead instead of, this and that? I was like, oh, my God. And the sad thing is I'd get in my car and drive home and go, Bill's right. I kind of let it get away from me and had to go back to doing my job and holding them accountable, things like that. So that was just typical Bill.
Phil Sims breaking it down. You never heard this. This is much better than the lad. Did you ever have bad pizza, food poisoning on the road, Phil?
My God, I saw that.
Where you thought it was the flu, and then you realized you were in another city where they don't have good pizza, and they sent it to your room, and you ate the whole damn thing because you were hungry?
Yeah, no. See, no team would ever do that because they wanted me to play. So it was a big difference. So I didn't have to worry about food poisoning or anything like that. Yeah, let Sims play. That's the old Don Coryell story. Well, I won't even get into that one. It's a great one.
They just sent
now, listen, let's hit that quarterback. Let's don't hit him too hard because that backup's really good. That's. I don't want to mention who he was talking about, but yeah, Don Coryell used to give these pieces the night before the game. He had a lisp, and he said, well, I can't tell any of these stories.
No, tell the story. Just clean it up.
Well, he just said, what? He meets the team, the Chargers, for the first time, and he goes in and he starts talking. He goes, one thing I hate about this lisp, I can't say, it ends with the T and begins with an S.
Yes.
I can't say that, and whatever. So that made everybody laugh and kind of broke the ice, and he went on from there. But he was great for the night before. One time they're playing a game, and he goes, "Listen, when we go out there and play those Oakland Raiders tomorrow," and everybody goes, "We're playing the Kansas City Chiefs." It doesn't matter who we're playing. So he was quite a character. He was great. It was great. So.
Back in that day, they would have sent the pizza to Lawrence Taylor's room, Tony, but he wouldn't have been in the room to eat it.
Exactly. It's interesting.
Good. That is really good. You're right. They would have said, "Wow, Lawrence is really asleep. He won't wake up as we're knocking on the door."
And you know how fans are, Phil. I mean, we heard the stories about, players would come into a town like Philly or other places.
Pull the fire alarm.
They pull
all
the
that
fire
stuff.
alarm in the hallway so you guys couldn't sleep on the Saturday night before the game. And that happens everywhere, right? It still happens today. You're trying to get into the other team's head, and you do all kinds of stupid stuff to throw them off so they're not 100% game day, right?
Well, I didn't know it still happened. I would think they, like fire alarms and stuff like that, these hotels are so locked down with the players now. When I was doing games, it was just, wow. It was like you had to go through 8 security checks to walk into a room just so you could talk to a player. But we were playing the Chicago Bears in 1985 in the playoff game, and I got a phone call, 2 a.m., your father, you need to call your father. This is Dr. So-and-so. He's not doing well. And I'm like, whoa, I hang up. I'm calling my brothers, and I have 7 brothers and sisters. And I'm calling, finally I get a hold of my oldest brother. I said, "Tommy, what's going on? What's wrong with Dad?" And he's like, What are you talking about? So he finally got a hold of him. He says, "Hey, everything's fine." And I stayed up for like 3 hours trying to get the story, and never got any sleep. But not that mattered in the game, but those things were pulled back then. That's for sure.
That's a low blow there.
That really
it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough because I was freaking out. I really was.
I would too.
And I did not go back to sleep. But I wasn't a guy that slept a lot the night before games anyway. I just watched TV and sit there as late as possible. And I remember the night before the Super Bowl out in Pasadena. Joe Montana was doing Saturday Night Live, so I stayed up to watch that, and I said, "Man, Joe did a hell of a job. I didn't know he was that funny. He was really good." And then I watched the movie, and all of a sudden I look, I go, "Wow, it's really late. It's like 4 o'clock." So I laid down for a couple hours, got up, went downstairs, started having coffee, okay, when we go in the stadium, this is, man. And not nervous. It wasn't being nervous. It's just it didn't feel like sleeping. So that was pretty common with me, though.
Isn't that the perfect game that you threw then, that next day?
It was pretty close to that, yeah.
22 of 25.
Exactly. So
yeah.
you prove the old adage, stay up late.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. Sleep is overrated. Just ask Lawrence Taylor.
We're talking with Phil Simms.
Man.
Now, Phil, I got to get to the football stuff because
let's do something. Yes.
Everybody's shut down. You've been shut down. You live in North Jersey. It's not really the hot spot up there as far as the virus. So what have you been doing? I mean, I'm sure you're doing a lot of Zoom stuff with the CBS guys, right? I mean, what are you doing football-wise? You watch the draft. You keep up to date on what's going on, right? What's happening?
Yeah, well, what's happening? First off, when this is all over, if I meet the guy that created Zoom, I'm going to knock him out. Okay? Because, hey, let's have a Zoom call. Zoom. We get on and go, what was this call about? Well done, just to talk. Well, hell, can't we call each other? Yeah, I've done a lot of Zooms, but that's kind of been fun. Just to stay involved. I followed the draft, of course, very close. I really enjoyed that. And, thankfully, I got some area to move around in. I got a great gym in my house, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm getting sick of it, though, I got to tell you the truth. But, stayed busy, that's for sure. Doing a lot of radio. I actually call radio stations, "Hey, can I come on?" Because I want to talk.
No, when we contacted you, when Robin contacted you, my producer, you wrote back to her, "Yeah, I'll come on 2 segments, though." Because, you go on these radio stations, and they give you like 6 minutes, and then they got a break.
Mm-hmm. Here it is. So, Phil, what about Tom Brady? Well, and what about this? And what about, Tua? And then, okay, thanks for coming on. And
We're up against the break here, Phil. We're up against the break. I'd like to get you on in another month or so. Can we get you back on in the future?
Can you? Is the break already there?
No, I'm pretending I'm the guy that has to go to a break after a 5-minute segment so I can go to 15 minutes of commercials.
Know what I do? I really do tell people, look, I'm not coming on for 1 segment. I'm just not going to do it because we don't get into anything except the glaring headline. Oh, Tom Brady to Tampa Bay.
By the way, what about Tom Brady to Tampa Bay? Do you and Tom get along? And have you ever walked in a coach's house naked without realizing you were walking into the wrong house?
He walked into Byron Leftwich's house naked?
No, he walked into the wrong house. He thought he was going into Byron Leftwich's house.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't think I ever did anything like that. No. I don't even know how to answer that. I'm just figuring out how many ways can I say Tom Brady because the season does go along. So today, the big game, the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys playing, and we're going to talk about it. Phil, what do you think about Tom Brady? He's great. Tom Brady. Tom Brady. I don't know. So, but of course, it's big news. Great quarterback. All that changing teams, and now he's got Gronk down there. I mean, so they're going to sell out that stadium for sure for the first time in probably many, many years. So it's going to be exciting, that part of it. It really
All right, enough about Tom Brady. We're running short on time here. I don't want to talk anymore about Tom Brady.
Good. Stop. Go answer me. Just ask me a damn question that's worth answering, would you?
Well, Phil, go back to the Giants. What was your reaction when they hired Joe Judge?
Oh, I guess I was surprised. I didn't even really know Joe Judge was going to be a candidate out there for head coaching jobs.
Right.
So I think this, I don't know him, never met him. Went to New England 950 times during my announcing career, and I saw him talking to Bill Belichick a lot, but I never got to say hi to him. And we texted a little bit, but I still, to this day, have not talked to him. But the Giants, I think, are looking for an overseer, a guy that goes around and coaches everybody.
Like a CEO, kind of.
Yeah, that's what Bill Parcells did. I'm sure that had something to do with it. Bill Parcells was an expert at everything. Now, Sims, when you're throwing that out cut, I want you, what? And, he coached out the line, D-line, defensive backs, punt returners. He walked around and coached every player on the field. And I think they envisioned that for Joe Judge. And if you've read things about Matt Rule down in Carolina, that's who he is. Bill Parcells is his idol. He coached Temple and Baylor University like that. I know some of the players on Baylor very I'm very close to them, and they would tell me things about him. I go, oh, my God, that's Bill Parcells. And I'll give you a real quick one. Their quarterback is Charlie Brewer. So I know him. We throw with him every once in a while. And he said he's at a camp, the youth camp they have at all these colleges, and he's working with the quarterbacks, and Matt Rule walks by and goes, hey, Charlie, can you find me somebody to take your place? Oh, my God, I'm tired of you. And just, keeps walking on. I cleaned it up. And Charlie just goes, you can imagine what he's thinking. And he would say back to him, as he got some power and kept winning games for Matt Rule and put him in the spotlight, that dynamic changed a little bit. He could talk back and have a little fun with Matt Rule.
Talking with Phil Simms of CBS, and one of the gifts that we have running is you dusting off with a duster the Emmy Award inside the NFL studios there. Was that set up? Was that staged, or did you really get the dust thing out and dust off the Emmy Awards?
What are you talking about?
There's a video of you in the studios of Inside the NFL where you appear during the season, if we have a season, and in one of them you have a duster, one of those feather dusters, and you're dusting off the Emmy Awards on the shelf there. I know the show is great. It's won all the Emmy Awards. Why were you the designated duster?
Well, there's a lot of answers there. I was probably the only one who knew how to use a duster and has ever done anything to clean a house. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
I don't know. I just saw that. I didn't even realize it was up there. Let's get to the other stuff.
Do you think Boomer was going to clean off the dust?
Yeah,
Tony?
would Boomer do that?
Well, he'd just talk at it. He talks so much, he'd blow the dust off of it. So we didn't have to worry about it.
I love when there's that New York on New York quarterback crime. We don't have enough.
Jesus.
We don't have enough of that in sports. Let me tell you that right now, Phil. I got to ask you about the season now, because everybody, the NFL has had the advantage as far as during this pandemic that they were able to keep business going. They altered the draft; it came off, and it came off better than a lot of people thought it would. Everything's virtual now. Guys are getting signed. Quarterbacks are getting signed. There's still people out there that need to be signed. They're not going to be sought. The Cam Newton one is still a question mark, but everybody's worried about his health. Do you think there's going to be a season in September? Because things are starting to open up. I know there's people that will never play sports again, and then there's the other people on the other side that say, let's play sports tomorrow. I'm trying to look at this logically. And we look at the progression, and we see teams are going back to the NFL. Some of the facilities are going to be opening up soon, and we're talking about early June. So I think we're going to see football in September. What do you think?
Well, listen, this is just an opinion.
I thought you don't give opinions, Phil.
Well, I usually don't, but you asked me a question I have no facts on. So, listen, I would say this, just guessing, and my opinion is, if it is delayed, I don't think it'll be long. I think by October at latest we will start the football season, and I think we'll get it. You've heard all the plans that maybe they'll get rid of the bye week, no week off between the championship games and the Super Bowl, all those kind of things. So I do believe, as I watch, man, I tell you, every night I watch the news, and lately I can't take anymore. I can't listen, but I do have a great feeling about it that we will see NFL football this year, and a good portion of the year where we feel like we get to the teams that we think are truly the two best that play in the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you, after watching the soccer this weekend with empty buildings, I can't imagine an NFL game with an empty stadium.
Yeah.
That would be weird, and I think I read whatever. If they do it, they're going to pump crowd noise into the viewers, not in the stadium, right? Just into the viewers, so you'll hear crowd noise. So.
Yeah, we had when Joe Buck was on, he was talking. That's when he had just learned that that's what they were going to do, at least at Fox, and I'm sure the other networks will follow suit.
Well, you know what? I would say don't put crowd noise in. Put those mics near the field, and the people will be going, "Oh my gosh!" Because when they see or hear the collisions in NFL football, they won't believe it. And I stood on a field, I don't know, a couple years ago. Oh, well, just like this year, I was at the championship game, Tennessee and Kansas City, and I'm standing on the sidelines, and they're right in front of me. They're running and playing. I'm going, "Oh, I played this game?" And of course, the size, but the speed and everything that was going on, I was just like, it's almost hard to believe that men, human beings or whatever, can absorb all the speed and punishment, whatever you want to say about the game. But they do. And then I think back, well, I was in my 20s and 30s, and, you're at the part of your life, and you've trained all of your life to take that kind of hitting and all that there is to it. But I think if the fans really heard it without crowd noise, I think they'd be very, very surprised how physical the game is, even more than they think.
Phil, last thing, and my buddy Harry Mays here is a prolific golfer. He's played 100 times, and every guest we have on always happens to live, like Jim Nantz, he lives on a golf course at Pebble Beach, and everybody we've had on seems to live near or a great golf course. And I know you live near a great golf course, but I talked to you before the show earlier, and you said you don't play golf anymore, so you can't even get Harry Mays on your course up there in North Jersey, right, which is a great course.
Well, yeah, I'm not even a member of any courses or anything like that. So, yeah, I quit playing, I don't know. Years go by so fast. I'm going to say 13 years ago, I think is what I told you. That's just a guess. I don't know. I kept my membership for about 6 more years and go, why do I have this when I don't play? Because I don't go out in the sun. And so do I miss it? Yes, at times. If I drive by a golf course, I go, man, that looks good. But it's okay. You know what it's done? It's made me do some other things that I really enjoy, and I'm almost glad that I don't even play golf because I'm neurotic, so I'd always practice. I'd be in my backyard practicing, hitting balls, chipping, putting on the bedroom floor at night, whatever, all that stuff. Just it's the way I was. So it's led me to a lot of other things which I enjoy, and I'm glad it's happened that way, to tell you the truth.
Well, your son Chris is killing it. I mean, one good thing, man. You got your sons are out there doing their thing, and your son Chris, I mean, you talk about a kid who's moved way up in the food chain. Is he going to overtake you soon as far as the best Sims in the family at broadcasting?
Well, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I think he has. And you know what? I really mean this. He might be the most truthful person on TV. And he says things, I just go, I'll call him and go, Christopher, I don't know if I'd have quite said it that way. Well, Dad, it's the truth. I don't know what else you want me to say. What am I going to do? And I just go, okay, sorry I asked. But he's very strong, he's very opinionated, and what I really enjoyed watching this year was everybody has all their mock drafts and their ratings and all this. And his never coincided with a lot of people's because he didn't listen to anybody else and didn't care. He just worries about his opinion because he has a good eye for talent and has done it for many years. So it's kind of, I do get a kick out of watching him on TV. I do cringe every once in a while, some of the comments he makes, but he, like me, speaks a lot of facts. and not opinion. So.
It's sort of like me. That's why you and I get along so well, Phil, for over these decades.
Tony, I don't know why we get along. I'll be honest. I don't know. I guess it's like it's yin and yang or whatever, good and the bad, whatever. Maybe the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't know, whatever. But it works out well. We had a great time together up at ESPN. It was only 1 year, but man, it was great. I love those kind of interactions, and I really appreciate you guys having me on today too.
Well, thank you, Phil. I'm glad you're healthy. Everybody's good, and I'm not going to say we're all in this together because we're not. Because the other people, all these people in New York, the rich people are moving the hell out of New York and going to Miami and California, so they're not in this together. They're getting the hell out of there.
All right, well, hey, listen, Tom Brady, baby. Let's go.
Brady. We'll get you on in a few
right.
weeks. I needed 15 minutes on Tom Brady. Can you put together something, and we'll have you back on in a couple of weeks as we get closer
I
to
can do it right now. Tom Brady.
No, we don't have any more time. I'm sorry, we're up against it, Phil.
Okay. Oh, you're up against the break. Okay, talk to you later.
There he is, Phil.